Well, it gives me great pleasure to bring on board Dinesh Kumar Khara, Chairman SBI, to talk exclusively on ET Now on budget. Mr. Khara, this budget has struck the right chords. It's a budget which in a sense has balanced growth and also government's vision of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. In your mind, what was the big standout feature?
I think the budget is something which is going to focus on the inclusive growth in the economy. Very clearly focus in terms of employment, skilling, and MSME, which are the key pillars when it comes to the inclusive growth. And also, they are having a very sharp focus for building the productivity and the resilience in agriculture. And also, when it comes to the youth, employment and skilling, that is something which is very critical resource for the economy, how to really make the best use of such resources. And at the same time, as far as manufacturing and services are concerned, MSME is one of the core focus area, urban development, PMAY, etc. And that is something which will really give a significant fillip to the real estate sector in the urban areas. Energy security again, when it comes to focus for the mini, this nuclear plants also is something which will go a long way in terms of the green initiative of the economy. And last but not the least, the infrastructure focus, I think, is going to be a major push for the core sector of the economy. I think it's a very well balanced and very inclusive budget which has been presented by Honorable Finance Minister.
Mr. Khara, while the budget talks about renewed focus on urban housing, do you think something more could have been done purely to kickstart the rural part of the economy directly or indirectly apart from focus coming on housing? Because historically, when the rural economy had been kickstarted, it's been done via several schemes and government initiatives. That punch was not there.
No, what has been done is that now, particularly for the rural economy, the way they have thought in terms of digitizing all the land records and ensuring that the KCCs etc. should be available through the Jan Samarth portal. That is something which will make the availability of credit much easier for the rural economy. So I think that itself should actually work very well. And on the top of it, when the rural centers gets linked up with the major markets, thanks to the infrastructure, road infrastructure, which is coming up, this will be the other area which will really help the rural economy to really pick up. That's my understanding of the initiatives which have been taken.
Mr. Khara, the other important indication from the budget was that the macro piece is coming under real strength. Fiscal deficit is down, tax assumptions are very conservative. Some would also say that the expenditure numbers are not also curtailed, and despite that, fiscal commitment is on. What impact do you think this could have on interest rates and how the cost of borrowing could move in the system?
Well, of course, when the borrowing calendar itself has indicated that the government borrowing is going to be much lower as compared to what was earlier envisaged in the month of February. So that itself has got a salutary impact on the yields, which is eventually it will trend southward. So that is something which will happen. And with that, the general it's more indicative, but nevertheless, there is something which will happen. So I think, and also it's a reflection of the fiscal discipline, and invariably we have seen that the fiscal deficit is looked up by all the global rating agencies, which also means that the borrowing which is done overseas in the overseas market, even that will become cheaper. So eventually, all this will tend towards the lower interest rates. Though of course these are the indicative numbers, but eventually we will look at it when we look at it, and this will have an impact on the overall interest rate structure in the economy.
Mr. Khara, despite the government push, why is private sector capex not coming up to satisfactory levels? You are in the right position to tell us which way that chain is moving.
No, I think one, of course, we had already started seeing some green shoots, and we hope that as far as the mid corporate was concerned, there was a decent uh, trends which were seen. Similarly, in SME also, with the kind of focus which has been brought in into the for SME in this budget also, I'm sure it will further give the push to the MSMEs, and likewise the mid corporates also, because when it comes to the core sector of the economy, the kind of levers which have been introduced in this budget will certainly have the positive impact on the core sector of the economy. So this will certainly encourage the private sector also to really, increase their investment, and which will probably address the need of the hour.
Mr. Khara, the budget had a lot of focus on green energy, renewables, water, waste management. Now, I distinctly remember you were one of the first banks who started even thinking of lending in that area when these topics were not on the radar. But now the renewed focus is coming back. Would SBI be looking at perhaps lending more in these areas with the government focus coming back?
Oh, yes, very much. Because when we look at the PM Suryaghar initiative, I believe that it is going to be a game changer. And I very firmly believe that, this is going to be the energy conserver. And also, there's a natural buy-in for very large number of Indian population, and they can save their electricity bill. Similarly, when it comes to, mini solar, solar power, that is one initiative which is actually taking firm root. It will actually lead to a new lever of growth, which is in terms of solar cells, solar panels, and also the services sector in terms of deployment of these solar panels, and in such large number will also be happening. And in addition to that, the mini nuclear plant initiative, which has been announced in this budget, even that will go a long way in terms of supporting our initiative in terms of green power. So overall, I would say that initiative for the battery storage, initiative for solar, initiative for nuclear. These are the things which very clearly is a reflection for uh, demonstrating the country's focus for the climate initiatives, and we will be more than happy to support such initiatives.
One of the issues for banks has been that liability franchise is not getting created. Savings is getting diverted to equities, to FNO, speculative aspects. But this budget has taken some brave measures to increase STT, increase long-term, short-term, change the tenure. Do you think that could have implications in terms of how the liability and savings are going to move back to banks?
Well, I think when it comes to deposit versus market instruments, it is nothing but a choice of the asset class which people go for. And they invariably used to evaluate the return and the reward relationship. And well, of course, risk and return relationship. Now, in this particular case, with the tweaking which has been done to long-term capital gain and the short-term capital gain, perhaps the gap in terms of post-tax returns for the banks as well as for the market instruments will narrow down a bit. But yes, nevertheless, I think it would still be the depositor's choice whether they would like to place it with the bank deposit or they would like to keep it in the market instruments. So I think we'll have to wait and watch how really it really pans out for the deposit for the banking system. But at the same time, when it comes to F&O, perhaps the intention was that those who really understand this product should come in, and those who understand the risk inherent in the product should come in, and others should stay away. So that is what the intention seems to be. And with that in mind, the new introduction in terms of the charges which would be there, tax which would be there, has been introduced.
All right, Mr. Khara, really appreciate your time. So glad you could join us with your valuable inputs, and it's a busy day for you. You found time, so really means a lot to us.
Thank you very much, Nikunj. All the best.
Let's take a break, but don't go away. When we come back, it's Vallabh Bansali, Hiren Ved, and a whole host of market men on decoding today's budget.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.